what I learnt as a coach and as an investor, you can either go and try and do it yourself, but the average investor spends 864 active hours looking for the right property. Now, Mr. Businessman here, you tell me how much money you could be making in your business, right, with that same amount of time versus just outsourcing it to a buyer's agent, for example, who can then guarantee and get you that growth and do the work for you. So it's very similar to building a portfolio. It's very similar to growing a business. You've got to learn to outsource. Outsource the things that you are going to lose opportunity, because that's an opportunity cost.
Yeah,
just
100%.
in itself. Yeah.
What do you think about the Gold Coast?
Right now to buy in?
Yeah.
Put it this way, my team are not buying in Gold Coast right now for investors. If you want those 3 buckets, this is the thing, right, is that within real estate, there's like 50 different ways of making money. They all work.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of which strategy is going to align to you and your lifestyle and your goals.
Yeah.
So I teach the easy way. You want to do the easy way and continue to build wealth slowly, steady but safely, but at the same time, also be able to live your life as well.
So what do you mean by that? Like getting something that's just a lot less? Like because everything on the Gold Coast is just quite expensive now?
Correct,
Is that what you're meaning? So like because you just have to borrow a lot more, higher mortgage, yada, yada, yada.
Correct, which
That's
means
what you're referring
lower rental yields, which means it's not going to be cash flowing as much typically. But the thing that you want to have is the growth, right? And is there enough infrastructure and planning that governments are building in at the moment to drive heaps of people in here? It might look like it, but then you've also got to, there's actually 147 points of data to look for.
To see if it's the top.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, right. So if you want to do that on your own, go for it.
That excites me. 147 pieces of data.
Yuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm excited by that, but most people are not. Right?
Yep.
And then there's an algorithm to understand which data point weighs more than the other one as well. So there's a lot involved. And so, but the thing is, right, is that you could just go out and buy a property. Like people do this in Australia. You just go out, buy a property, because it is factually true. The property will double every 10 to 12 years. So even if you bought the property at the wrong place, at the wrong time, at the wrong location, you know what? You'll actually still do all right.
Yeah, I said this to someone the other day. Actually, I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't even have a property.
Yeah.
I don't think you can go wrong with property. Really, it's like I heard T. Harv Eker said in Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. He's like, don't wait to buy property, buy a property and wait.
Yes.
Right. So you're saying on average here in Australia, the value of your property is going to double roughly over 10 years.
Every 10 years, 10 to 12 years.
Insane.
Yeah, right. Now, a lot of my clients over in WA or South Australia would definitely disagree with that, because over in those sort of states that don't have it in the past have not typically had similar sort of growth that we'd have on the East Coast.
Because I don't think anyone lives there, is it?
Oh, do you want to know a fun fact? Is that 70% of the people leaving Sydney during 2021 migrated to Perth.
Really?
Yep.
Why? I thought they got smashed even harder with lockdowns and stuff.
So this is one of the other data points is we need to look to affordability.
Right.
So where is it affordable for humans to live? And then you've also got lifestyle factors as well. Beaches over there, incredible, right?
Yeah.
So if I can have the beach lifestyle, which is what technology opened us up to during lockdowns, right?
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, I can do this business stuff. I can make money from home now, right? I don't need to live near the city. I can have that beach lifestyle. Oh, but hang on. Where are the beach lifestyles that are more affordable? Oh, well, there's a lot of affordability over in Perth, isn't there? So does it mean that you just go over and buy in Perth? Absolutely not, no. Not if you want to do it the smart way. There's particular suburbs, right? Because there's I don't want to get into the weeds of this, but there's over 15,264 suburbs in Australia. At any one given moment in time, roughly somewhere between only 15 to 30 of them are classified as a top 1% suburb in that window.
And that's changing, you said, every roughly 6 weeks.
6 to about 12 weeks, yeah, sort of thing on average. So it might be 6 months in an area where the data might say, yeah, cool, keep buying in there. But then all of a sudden, everyone else starts to find out.
But how does that make sense, though? Because, let's say if you buy somewhere in the top 1% now and it's amazing now, but you want to keep a property essentially forever if it's done right, then you're saying that something else so it's not going to be in the top 1% potentially in 6 weeks.
So The idea is to get it in the top 1% at the start of your journey so you can pull out the equity to move you to the next one. Then you just hold it for the long term to do the average growth. So it's all about timing, yeah, because you want to build that portfolio quickly.
Yeah.
And for most people, it's the average one in my industry. We always laugh about the average scenario is just get one property per year for 10 years. We'll get you 100K worth of passive income.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's pretty standard, stock standard. One property per year, 10 years, and then you have 100K passive income.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the system then. And if, like, because, we get government grants, 15 grand or what, is it 15 grand? First home buyers?
It differs state to state.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Typically 10 to 20K is the usual.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're giving you that if you buy a brand new home.
Mm-hmm.
And so if for first home buyers, wouldn't that be useful to capitalize and get that and get a brand new one? Or is that like a little carrot they're dangling just to get people buying new stuff?
Yeah, well, that's the purpose of it, right? Is the government's purpose is just to drive people to build more houses because we have the highest shortage of property that we've ever had. So we are at catastrophic levels in Australia right now. Like we just do not have enough dwellings for the amount of people migrating to Australia.
Right.
So my answer is take whatever levers you can to get in. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't save quick enough to have to be able to purchase an established property, then do the new build. I did it. I did the new build. I claimed the first homeowners grants and I did that to get in the deal at the start. Foot in the door. That's all it is. Because that's what grants are for, right? It's there to help you leverage and get in.
Yeah.
And so if your savings rate is not high enough to catch up with the rate that the established properties are moving towards, then go for it. Whatever you need to do. But that's something that I work quite closely with people on as well because I'm a big advocate of also of rent vesting. Rent vesting.
Okay. What's that?
Do you know what that is? No. Okay. So rent vesting, it's my favorite topic. So rent vesting is basically where you rent wherever you desire to live, but then you invest wherever the numbers make sense. So you invest where you can afford and where it makes sense to invest.
So rent where you want to live.
Correct.
And invest where it makes sense.
Correct. Yep.
Yep.
It's the new most common way that some millennials are forced to do. But actually rent vesting has some huge benefits to it from a lending perspective. When you buy a home, it's not cash flowing. It doesn't produce income.
You're in it.
Because you're in it.
Yeah.
You're paying it off. You're grounded and going to your 9-to-5 job to pay that thing off, right?
Yeah.
No one else is paying that off for you. Imagine if you moved out of that, lived in a house next door, had someone else pay that off for you. Guess what? Bank loves you a lot more.
Thank you so much for listening. And if you got value from this episode, it goes such a long way. If you can just take 20 seconds of your time, leave me a 5-star rating and written review, then screenshot this episode and share it to your story. And make sure you tag me for that shout out. And until next time, guys, go out there and dream out loud.